Hey guys, Tarke here, and today we're doing the ultimate snowflake, the Ngamahu. I realize Ngamahu isn't a snowflake item, it's a fire item, but my point being is it's very rare. So Garf, you might remember Garf from a previous build review we did just at the end of Metamorph. Garf made this build, and apparently Bala helped Garf make this in Legion, so all blame is going on Bala for this build. I thought it'd be kind of fun just to see how many people are actually playing with Ngamahu. A whopping 0.0%. There's actually 5 people. All 5 of them hit level 95. In softcore Delirium and hardcore Delirium, slightly even bigger. There's actually quite a few. There's actually a fair few. But yeah, you see, this guy's setup looks pretty decent. Looks pretty decent. So we've got to kind of see how people are doing this stuff. But first off, I want to see some softcore setups. Now, the reason why normally I look at people's like tree, their skills, their items, and then I look for PB Ninja for inspiration. The last time I even saw Ngamahu's used was when I played it in like Abyss, and even then it was kind of like the item was sort of on its way out. When they changed Point Blank, that was kind of like the end of the build, really, for a lot of people. So I'm just curious to see how it's treated. A lot of people go left, a lot of people go right. Going left is the way I'd recommend. Okay, I think I'm feeling inspired. Right. Let's have a look-see. So, this is my Ngamahu build. Bala helped me create it in Legion. I've updated the tree to current patch 3.10 as best as I could. No items/gems have changed since then. Things that are mandatory: Ngamahu's axe and Bar Cyclone. Supports can be changed. Marauder class, I don't care which ascendancy. Otherwise, feel free to gut it and the tree. I have about 450 chaos to spend if needed. I don't actually know how much that is in exalts. Softcore people, 450C. Give me a rough, like, how much is that? Due to IRL responsibilities, I don't have enough time to play League. I have to play Standard right now, so you do not have access to Cluster Jewels. Oh, that really sucks. That really, really sucks. Okay. Like 3x. Okay. But well, I guess this has to be in standard though. How much is that in standard? So 450C in standard. Hmm. 1x. Okay. Right. So I guess we'll start by going through the links. 2x and a bit. Okay. Then we'll go through the gear. And then we'll sort of look at the tree a bit. Okay. So. If you don't know how Ngamahu works, I guess we should talk about how the axe actually works, because a lot of people might not even know. So it's got chance to trigger a level 16 Molten burst on melee hit. So generally what you do is you have a Cyclone set up in your chest piece, or your gloves or whatever. A lot of people didn't even run like 6-link Cyclone, they just run like a 4-link utility Cyclone setup. And then they use this Molten burst to do the majority of their damage. So they've got a 20% chance when they hit something with like a Cyclone that it shoots out like a Molten Strike effect, which does quite a lot of damage. It's got decent base fizz, 50% of fizz converted to fire, and then 20% fire pen. Right. Decent item. So, elemental damage with attacks, fire pen, added fire, GMP, LE focus, vicious proj. One thing which is pretty nice about doing the Molten burst setup is you don't actually need to 6-link it, you just need to 6 sockets. That was one thing which was why this axe actually used to be very popular back in the day. Anger, Herald of Ash, Enlighten, Empower. I don't know if I like the Empower. I guess the Empower boosts up the value of the Anger, but it's a bit memey. Like, it's not worth the reservation. I'd rather just run a Aura. Vile Cyclone, Fortify, Infused Channeling, Combustion, Fast Tracks, Increase rate. So yeah, you can see Garf's mostly just put utility links on their Cyclone. So it procs their Fortify, gives them the Infused Channeling buff, procs the Combustion, faster attacks, so they're getting more procs, and then increased AoE just for more procs. Possibly drop the increased AoE for something else. But otherwise, this is like the standard setup people were running for Ngamahu. We might double check on PvE Ninja to see what links people are running these days. This was like pretty standard for how we used to make these characters. Portal, faster cast, increased duration of Vol Molten Shell. I like running Second Wind on Vol Molten Shell. So if we were to do Vol Molten Shell, increased duration, dash, Second Wind, obviously, when Balor helped make this in Legion, these didn't exist back then. Consider using Essence Gloves for more attack speed and 6 Cyclone that maybe. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I did back when I played my character. We would then cut the... You would cut the increased AoE and the faster attacks off the Cyclone. Flammability, Blood Magic, Curse on Hit, Leap Slam. One thing I've started to kind of like is Vortex Curse on Hit on Cyclone builds. You can also shove... Vortex is an instant skill. You can shove it on left click if you want. But that's the Molten Burst links. No Zoph's Ami. Right. Zoph's Ami is very important. Very, very important. It's like probably one of the most important things. Otherwise, you kind of need to take this on the tree because you want your 100% fire setup. So, how much is a Zoph's in standard? I can't imagine a Zoph's in standard is too expensive. And if not, this should be what you're aiming for. So you should be saving up to buy a Zoph's. I mean, also, like, do we even want to play Berserker? Garf said they wanted to be Marauder, but they didn't care what ascendancy. Chief, I wouldn't go Berserker. I'd probably go Chieftain. So let's just do that. Chieftain. I mean, you have to, right? It even says Namagama-Gamagu. So if it says Nagamagama-Gamagu and you're using Nagamagama-Gamagu's axe, you've got to use Nagamagama-Gamagu's flame. It's just like, it's obvious, right? You then also get the cover on Ash. Zoph's Ami is only an X. Yeah, that's not that bad. So yeah, Garf, if you want to go for the Zoph's Ami, do the Zoph's Ami route. I'd probably just go Chieftain though. I'd go Tassilo. Tassilo is great because it gives you Fizz taken as fire, gives you 100% increased fire res, which makes gearing much, much easier. It also gives you unaffected by Ignite and a whole bunch of recovery, a bunch of regen, which is really nice. Sadly, Cyclone isn't a fire skill, so this won't proc very easily. You could use Flame Dash to proc it, but that'll be kind of janky. I don't think Molten Burst procs it. It's a trigger, it's not you casting. You can use Moon's Presence, though. This is pretty solid, because if you use like an Ancestral Warchief Totem or something, you can drop the Ancestral Warchief Totem. Ancestral Warchief Totem smacks the boss, and enemies take damage. You could also, if you got really desperate, just take Ramako for 15% pen. Like, 15% pen isn't the worst. But I'd probably go for Moon's Presence. Oh, Molten Shell is a fire skill, true. Yeah, you could just generate it off Molten Shell spam. Yeah. Molten Shell with Second Wind's got pretty low cooldown. Endurance charges last for a fair amount of time. So, yeah, that works. So this thing to a boss would be ignited, would be burning. Would be covered in ash. I would have taken fire damage recently. Okay, yeah, that's yeah, I'm into it. So let's look at the actual tree, because I'm not a big fan of this rooting. So how much of a DPS increase is this? You can't actually calculate it. That's annoying. The life is low. They don't have access to cluster jewels. Turn on infusion. Yes, that's something we should do, sorry. Although infusion isn't going to be doing all that much. I guess it still fizz because it converts before the thingy. I'd probably take Holy Dominion because it still gives you 12% damage. And the 12 auras is solid, and it gives the fizz, so it's like 24% damage. I'll take that. Makes gearing easier. You could probably get the cluster jewels in standard. Like, there's lots of hardcore players who've been dying with cluster jewels, so they'd be at a premium, but you could get hold of them. But you know, it would be at a premium. I want to fill in some life. Int is surprisingly good. Would kind of want to run up to Superior Flash. It's like 4x a jewel. Okay, yeah, let's not do that then. You don't need Sanctity. Coming across could be kind of neat, because then you can grab Thick Skin and Primeval Force. But I'd at least grab, you know, Thick Skin. 196 life. No cluster jewels. No, Garf's playing in standard and can't afford them, sadly. These 3 points you could instead route along this way. Do you need the Dex? No. Is Hatchet Master worth it? I'd kind of rather route along the bottom, get Iron Reflexes. Haven't really got... Oh, you've got a little bit of evasion. Yeah, regular standard, not Delirium softcore. You can need the mana leech though. Is dropping Herald and going by Magic Mortal Conviction option also means don't need mana leech. What's the mana cost on the Cyclone? 4. Could just get some reduced mana cost rings, or do they have reduced mana cost? They've only got the 1. You could allocate Lucidity, and I don't think yeah, you could drop the mana leech completely, and you could do that. Could also grab a Warlord's chest for minus 15 mana cost. Could go for the Essence gloves. The Brine Crown Helm. It's an odd pick. I mean, it's actually a really good helmet. Like, it's really solid. 90 life, good cold res, can't be frozen, reduce cold damage taken. The problem is you're never stationary with Cyclone. I mean, you can spin on the spot, but you're nearly always moving, so you lose most of the good stuff. It's just okay. If you have it, it's pretty good, to be honest. Ideally, you'd want to have a minus fire as helmet, but, you know. Bought it for the enchants, 5CM Legion. I'm trying to think, are there any, like... For someone with limited playtime who maybe doesn't have, you know, all the resources to be crafting and stuff, are there any, like, no-brainer unique items we could recommend? That would just be like a... Just slap this in. Could go Ephagon Amulet with Flesh and Stone. Hits can't be evaded. Grab EO on the tree. Oh, that I like. Yeah, that I like. And it's standard as well, so you can afford to be a little bit YOLO. That'd be pretty cool. Get the pen. It's not that crazy, just slotting an extra 4 points, or 5 points rather. Have to change the tree a bit. Pretty big DPS increase. I quite like that. You could go ditch Templar, Path through Sun Life, Duelist Marauder. The meatballs usually happen behind you and hit non-blinded enemies, though. That's true. That's a good point. medium Thread of Hope and Duelist Air is amazing. What, get like Discipline of the Slaughter and all that good shit. We already have the Endurance Charge generation, so Unyielding isn't as great. Let's just have a look. Let's just have a look at, like, what we could get. 1.5 per point. Oh. Graceful Assault's decent for Onslaught generation. See what a Thread of Hope looks like now. Thread of Hope. I imagine these are pretty dime a dozen in standard. Let's have a look. Ooh, that is pretty sexy. That's pretty sexy because yeah, you can get the life. You can get Fury Bolts, which does give DPS for the Molten Burst. You can grab the Frenzy Generation, which is pretty solid. You can then grab Hatchet Master, which is really nice. Harvester of Foes is nice for axes. Yeah, that's solid actually. Yeah, that was a good shout. Yeah, that's really nice. That's getting Hatchet Master and Harvester. Yeah, that's an ooh, I like that a lot actually. So then you could take this for the Endurance Charge goodness. And then maybe not take Tower Hoa or just stack it because it's still like Endurance Charge stuff being good at the end of the day. And then you can just like stack a bunch of Endurance Charges at that point. Let's go back to RT, I think. Drop this stuff. It's a 95 tree. So yeah, the Molten Shell will maintain your uptime on single target. That's a nice cluster jewel right there. 204 life. Pretty well balanced stat distribution. Because you get some good amount of dex along here, you get some in up this way. I kind of like this, to be honest. That would then be 2.7 per point is decent. 95 is okay. Just joins this a Nama. Yeah, Nama Hamahu. We've got the Onslaught generation there, so you don't need to get any of this stuff. I kind of like this tree. Right, so let's just clean up some of these links then, shall we? So I don't like this flammability, blood magic, leap slam thing. I don't really like that. So let's go for instead. I'm gonna say do the vortex thing. You can cut it. You could also go for flammability ring. Flammability Ellie Weak ring. You could try and buy one. They also drop from Delve and Warlord. So it's Warlord rings, which is vulnerability and or flammability. Fire Delve nodes. Can also buy a pair of corrupted gloves with them. I don't know why I like this weird janky curse on hit vortex setup so much at the moment. It's just something I'm kind of into. Really don't feel forced to run it, and feel free to cut it. It's just I did it on a build recently. I kind of liked it, and I think for Cyclone it's pretty chill. I don't know if you see what I did there, chat. But I said it's pretty chill because it's a vortex. Anyways, funny joke. Yeah, it's also quite refreshing to make a build without cluster jewels, because I love cluster jewels. I want cluster jewels to stick around forever, but it feels like it's been there forever now. It feels so weird. It's like quaint to make one without cluster jewels. You know what I mean? Let's just see for a little inspiration what stuff these guys have been doing. Cyclone infused channeling. Oh, he had the Cyclone in his weapon? Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Yeah, that's... I don't like that. Yeah, that's a no. That's a yikes from me. Inspiration. That's a very good link for the Cyclone. Get that mana cost actively down. Yes, I like that. It also gives you crit, which is nice for your LE overload uptime if you were to go at LE overload, which is a possible option. You know, I like that. Cycling the weapon. Yeah, cycling the weapon kills the entire purpose of you know, using the weapon. So yeah, that cuts 2 mana cost off, which cutting 2 mana cost might not seem like a big deal, but cutting 2 mana cost off is actually a very big deal. Where's these inspiration charges? Yep, I like that. Wave of Conviction, Castle. Yeah, Wave of Conviction is another solid way of doing it. You could have the, like, Vortex just for map clear, then, like, Wave of Conviction for the single targets. Yeah, if you ended up going for LE Overload, definitely run Inspiration on Cyclone. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. So, at this point, you could anoint Lucidity onto your amulet and have a 0 cost. Yeah, like here. You had it. No, you just actually had channel skill -3. You could just use that. Would the interrogation be a good cost duel for that? Inspiration on Axe 2 since you have the charges. It won't be better DPS than Wed. Won't be better DPS than Firepen. It won't be better damage than Added Fire. Won't be better than GMP. Won't be better than Ailey Focus. Vicious Proj. No, I don't think it'd be better than any of those links. You'd eventually want to just replace as many of these with woke versions as you could. So that's your boot setup. That's your glove setup. That's your body armor. That's your helmets. So we've got some open mana reservation. So you'd want a nice flesh and stone. And you could theoretically do Ephagon and run Elite Overload for a bunch of extra points. To fit that in, you could just cut some of the endurance charges that I added in. But I think I prefer this setup. So at that point, yeah, it would just be getting better gear. This is your character naturally set up, so I don't want to mess around with it too much. I guess, okay, I'm gonna mess with your flasks. I mess with everyone's flasks because, you know, people do their flasks wrong. So we ended up going Iron Reflexes. So we'll keep the Divine Life Flask of Staunching. That's a yay. We'll keep the Xeria's Promise. That's a yay. So the other advantage going Chieftain is you don't have to go for the Avatar of Fire, so you can run stuff like Xeria's. Jade of Warding, fine. Granite of Burning. Oh, you got the heat removal from there. I'd rather want Grounding on you. So let's just replace that with a Grounding Granite. And also we've got Ignite immunity from our Ascendancy now. Boom, boom, boom. Grounding. Chemist if you can grab it. But, you know, whatever. And then I want a Quicksilver. I want to run. I want to, you know what I mean? So let's drop this Basalt. So let's run a Quick Lad. Is Stampede a good choice? I kind of want to zoom. I mean, Stampede is decent on Cyclone with buff dash. That might be a good choice actually. That might be a good choice. If you don't know, Stampede is this item. So Cyclone slows you down, but with Stampede, the Cyclone doesn't slow you, and then you just like spam dash. You could try it. If you had one in standard, you could mess around with it. But I think I'd go for this setup, and obviously just a solid life jewel. I'll just add it. Something you could think about using. Jewel life. And then you just want, you know, percent life, fire damage, physical damage, two-handed weapon, you know, shit like that. All res stats that you might need. Or whatever. Why is the life feels low for a 204% life build? Right, so this belt, get more life on it. No life on one ring. Life, elemental damage on both ring slots. Elemental damage on rings and Ami, most important stats. So try and get yourself some nice life. Elemental damage, wed. I don't know why I said elemental damage and wed, but yeah. Life, elemental damage, elemental resists. On your belt, both your rings and your amulet. That's when anything you want to like buy on PB trade, you want to be focusing on life, elemental damage with attacks, resists. Boom. Fill those slots in there. And obviously because of, you know, Chieftain now, fire res is like a non-issue. So you can like swap around a bunch of stats. Boots, 30% mutant speed, life. So priority on boots is just as much life and as much mutant speed as possible. Right? That's the main prio there. Then focus on the rings. Scrap the gloves. And then chest. Chest is a big note because it doesn't even have life on it. Doesn't even have the life. So get rid of that. They're on a very limited schedule. They're playing standard. They don't really craft that much. They just want to like pick something up. Will be a good, just like a good, nice chest. You know what's a chest that I think is kind of like underrated a little bit? I mean, belly is like the ultimate, you know. Carcass could be solid just for map clear. Gives some deeps as well. Gives a decent amount of evasion. I was actually gonna say Duresso's Defiance though. I think Duresso's Defiance is like a super underrated chess piece. But yeah, Carcass would give you a little bit of deeps. Give you a bit of life. I really like Duresso's Defiance though. So it gives you onslaught generation on bosses, which is solid. It's got some endurance charge. It does wipe your endurance charges, which feels bad with your endurance charge stacking, so maybe not actually. But if you didn't want to invest into endurance charges, you could maybe do the Duresso's Vibe. Yeah, you know, nah, because you're investing into endurance charges, don't do Duresso's. Probably just go for Carcass for mapping. Shadow Stitch, maybe there'd be a decent corrupted Shadow Stitch they could pick up. But I don't know, I'd probably go for something kind of like that. I'd probably go something sort of like that. So yeah, I hope that was helpful, Garf. It's always interesting doing your builds, because I've got to try and, like, not go too crazy on the min-maxy gear. But yeah. Namagamagoos in 2K20. Also, I did really like this. Any Axe Lads, medium Thread of Hope. I liked that. That was very nice. But anyway, I'm Tarke. Have a good day. Ngamahu, by the way. Bye-bye.